The big developing story. Once again, the UIDAI has found itself at the center for controversy. Several Indians have reported on Twitter that they have found an old UIDAI helpline number on their phones. The UIDAI claims is an old helpline number, even though they had never saved this number. The UIDAI, in its clarification, says it has not asked any manufacturer or service provider to add the number. Telecom industry body for the service providers, COAI, has stated that the inclusion of the number is not from any telecom service provider. So the telcos are saying, we don't have anything to do with it. Now, these statements have further deepened the mystery around the number. How exactly did that number get onto your phone if you didn't put it in there? Kevin Lee and Megha Vishwanath, our tech experts, join us now to take us through the details of this development. Kevin, let me come to you first. Take us through the latest on this mysterious UIDAI number that finds itself embedded on phones for a lot of people.
Well, it's a mysterious number indeed. In fact, this story started breaking yesterday on Twitter, where several users reported finding a UIDAI 12-digit helpline number on their phone without any memory of having manually inputted that number. In fact, French cybersecurity researcher Robert Baptiste, aka Elliot Alderson, did a survey asking people to go into their contact applications and check if this number was there. A lot of people responded with panic, saying that, yes, this number is here. How did it get here? Now, it's been found on both iOS and Android devices. However, there is some thought here that if it's found on an iOS device, that's because contacts were copied from an Android device that a person may have been using earlier. It's saved on the device memory and not the SIM card of the phone. And also, it's even found on devices that were manufactured outside India, bought outside India, and only later brought into the country. So there's some confusion there, which got deepened further when the UIDAI clarified, saying that it had not asked either cell phone manufacturers or telecom service providers to put this number on people's phones. The UIDAI says that some vested interests are trying to create confusion without specifying what these vested interests are. Also, it said that this is an outdated number. It's no longer in use. The new toll number is 1947. It's a 4-digit number, not a 12-digit number, and this has been in use for at least the last 2 years. And then the COAI also clarified, saying that it had not asked any telecom service providers to put this number on any cell phone. So the real question, like you asked, is where is this number coming from if you've not entered it into your phones, and all parties involved seem to be denying any responsibility of having put it there.
Okay, so the mystery deepens further. Let's go across to Megha. Megha, we've seen people sharing screenshots of phones that they've been using, showing that UIDAI number, which the UIDAI says is the old helpline number, finds itself on their phones. Now tell us, is this limited only to old phones, and is it an operating system specific issue?
Well, firstly, yes, a lot of tweets did mention that this was on Android phones, but then we did start seeing some iOS screenshots as well. I am on an iPhone, and this is the iPhone 10, so this is one of the latest iPhones, and yes, this did have the UIDAI number that was sitting there without my knowledge. I have not saved this number, so obviously there had to be some common link. Now, clearly this is on Android and on iOS, which means that this is not an issue of security, or it's not an issue of platforms at all. Now, exactly what you asked, where are these numbers being saved from? Is it the OS, or is it it's not on the SIM card, it is on the devices. So I wanted to test this a little further, which is when I realized that while I am on my iPhone and the iOS platform, my iCloud account actually is a Google Mail ID, which is when I wanted to go back and trace how this number has come into my iPhone. So I went on to Google Contact to trace back when and how this number was saved. Now, this information is not public. The only company that has access to this backdoor is Google itself. So I reached out to the company, and my sources there told me that the tech giant is currently looking into the matter. They were also alerted of this information by social media just yesterday, and currently they're investigating, and they have no comments to share at this point. Now, I wanted to take this a step further and see that now this phone, of course, had a SIM card. Telcos have denied that they don't have anything to do with this number being saved. So I unboxed 3 new smartphones that are with me right here. This is a Vivo Nex, and this is a OnePlus, and this is Infinix. So these are 3 different phones, and I unboxed them today just to check if new phones have it. And guess what? The contact list had the UIDAI number pre-installed on the contact list. Now, make note that I did not add any SIM card, neither did I connect it with the Wi-Fi while setting up. The only thing I did was set this up as a brand new phone, and the number was sitting there. Of course, the location services were on by default on all these handsets. So while the three manufacturers were different, the only common link was the OS, and that is Android. I'm yet to test a brand new iPhone to see if this number is installed on an iPhone as well. But overall, this leads to a lot of confusion and a lot of questions, and one single concern. That is, if this number can enter your phone and make its way into your contact book, what else do they have access to?
Okay, we don't have answers to those questions yet, but what we have been successfully able to at least show here is the fact that as the COI is suggesting, this doesn't seem to be linked to the SIM cards, because all the phones that Megha unboxed, and I'm going to ask her to hold them up, they did not have the SIM cards, they were not connected to Wi-Fi, and they do have the UIDAI. So just do a close zoom in to that, and you will see that these brand new phones which have just been unboxed do have the UIDAI number pre-installed, and these are different manufacturers, but the only thing that is common on them is the operating system. So we'll have to wait to see whether we get answers from Google or we get answers from phone manufacturers or perhaps even the government. But time for us to head into a break. Coming up next, turbulent times for Jet Airways, a special discussion with Kapil Kaul of Kappa and Dheeraj Mathur of PwC when we return.